Good morning, everyone. I'm Sakar Upadhyaya Khatiwada. I'm a WordPress developer and I love WordPress. So I basically do work on WordPress and also research on WordPress. So this is something I found interesting and research on it, and I'm going to share with you. Since there are various in development companies, plugin development companies, but they are not interested or they are not aware about this thing called accessibility or accessible WordPress. So let's begin the presentation. So what is accessibility? I think I should begin a quote with Tim Berners-Lee quote. He says, "Power of web is in its universality." So access by everyone, regardless of disability, is its essential aspect. So Tim Berners-Lee states that web is so powerful information tool that it can be made accessible by everyone. So we can make it work for all the people regardless of their cognitive ability, physical ability, or the language they use, or the physical location they are in. So it's like making it work for all the people. And it is about removing all the barriers from the users, regardless of their physical or cognitive ability. So we understand what is web accessibility. Now why it is needed in the WordPress. So it's not a feature. Let me explain you. It's not an feature or a feature. It's standard that has been set. A standard followed by many countries, many corporate houses that needs to provide accessible information to all. So it's not a feature but a standard, and it's to be adjusted to law. Your themes, your plugins should be adjusted to law of every country because it's a global market and you have to remain adjusted with law. So to remain adjusted with law, you should make your theme or plugins or your blog accessibility friendly. So to remove the barriers in using your website, the barriers in using your website should be removed. It helps in search engine optimization too, because the HTML implementation that you do for accessibility is very useful for the search engine optimization too. It's obvious that it will cover a large group of users because your information will flow through various different kinds of users using different devices rather than man sitting in front of computer using a mouse. So there will be a better conversion because people will easily understand what your website is trying to give out. So how to know your website is accessible or not? So is all the content available to everyone? Is it perceivable by everyone? A person trying to send a captcha, is he able to send your contact form though he is usually impaired? So if you have thought of it, then if you have thought that your small font size, can it be visible to everyone with every kind of eyesight? Or you need to implement some extra things that will help to increase the size of the font or change the color contrast so it will be accessible by everyone. So next thing is, can everyone use the functionality that are built in your system? If user cannot find functionality, how will he or she use the system? So is the system being able to give the functionality that are meant to be used, that are meant to convert your site from make your better conversion in your site? So can visitor comprehend all the content? It means that if user understands your content or not. If you are a blogger, you cannot write in complex wording. My native language is not English, so I cannot get complex wording and complex sentences. So is it visible? Is it accessible to me or not? That site is accessible to me or not? Or shall I check every word in the dictionary? So it's very bad for your site. So can a visitor use in any device? The trends have changed from years. it has gone from a person clicking a mouse in the front of the desktop to people touching from their phones and tablets. Now there are screen readers you have to take care of. So if your website is friendly on every kind of browser that are built in for special users, so is your website friendly or not? You can ask these questions to yourself and find out that if your website is accessible or not. It's hard finding out from these questions, so there are tools that we'll be discussing later. So there is a quite good relationship between accessibility and WordPress. There is an accessibility team in WordPress who have been making the WordPress core and WordPress stack themes accessible from years. They have been working in making the WordPress content management system accessible. They have been present in Twitter with handle WP accessibility and hashtag WPA11Y, and they are on Slack channel with accessibility channel, and they also help in reviewing themes with accessibility ready tags. There are many themes company over here. I guess many less of them will think that they will put their work theme in WordPress.org and get a review for the accessibility ready tag. So there is a tag called accessibility ready which can be searched in your theme filters while you are searching for theme in WordPress.org too. So there is open source course. There are open source code in GitHub. You can access them. There is a thing called accessibility theme patterns. There are codes, so you can view it from github.com/wp-accessibility. And mainly WordPress accessibility team follows the content accessibility guidelines 2.0, that is AA standards. So if you are building anything that is accessibility ready in WordPress, then it should follow those standards because it is mostly acceptable in most part of the world, and every country of the world accepts it. So what are the things to be followed? Small HTML tweaks or small HTML changes, CSS changes can make your website accessible. So what are those things that should be taken care of before getting the accessibility ready tag? These are the review things that are being checked in theme report. So first of all, let's proceed with the heading. Heading is the major part of SEO. You know it all. So if you are keeping your heading styling it like a heading, but it is not covered with a heading tag like H1, then it's wrong. It totally goes wrong. And if you are not following the structure, H3 comes after H1, and it's messed up. So screen readers will get confused and they will not show the content correctly. So you have to make it structured and follow the structure, and not only make the designs but also use correct tag correctly. There is second thing called ARIA landmark rules. So every content should be defined as a landmark, like banner or main content or side section. So it should be divided as landmark with the tag called rules. Here is an example of navigation, rule navigation. So there will be various navigation. So it will be defined by area tag, that area level will define which type of navigation it is. Like it is a primary navigation, which will help the screen reader to find out the section and what is it. So link text, if there are many read more in your box, so screen reader will get confused there. What is the read more for? So if you add simple titles, read more about this, so it will be more friendly for every kind of users. Controls. Controls means the buttons or the places where you click and some event happens. So if there are some controls in our website, then it should be done through a button and input. Other tags, like here I I gave an example of wrong thing, like span menu toggle, a menu or button that helps to toggle the menu. It will work fine for us, but it will not be regarded as a control button in many devices. So better use the correct formatting for your website and use button A or input tag for actions controls. So every people in the world will not be using your system through mouse or a touchpad. They may be suffering from various diseases that will not let them to use the mouse. So if your menu is not friendly without the mouse, they cannot serve through your website. So what is the use of it? A small tweak, like if you hide the menu with position absolute, then hiding it from display none, it will do the trick. So, and a small changes of showing the menu on the mobile and adding a focus element on it will add a keyboard navigation to it. So, some small tweaks that in CSS will help to make your website not only navigable by mouse or touch devices, but also by the keyboard. Contrast. The foreground and background of your content. It's called contrast, which according to the guidelines should be higher than 4.5:1. So if you are, this is a contrast checker plugin. This is a contrast checker which I installed. So it helps to find out the contrast level if it passes or not for the users that are not like what we think. So if the contrast level is maintained, it is accessible to everyone. So in the first example, I choose something that is not seen in the presentation, that is not seen in the presentation fails, and that something is seen in the presentation passes because the contrast level is maintained here. So this type of text will help to easily use your system and convert your system easily. Skip links are internal links that are in the content. If your content is large, like my presentation was large and it contained many things like headings, area, landmark, link text, and skip links helps to skip to that content portion using the tab index and skips through IDs, and it will help in maintaining that, it will help in navigating in screen readers and all, and it will be easier for anyone using your system to jump from one place to another or jump where we are about to go, because we are not going to read all the content of that website. We need a specific portion of it, so skip links will help to cover that too. The form should come with a label. A label helps to define what is the form for. A label like upper one only says there is a placeholder, but there is no label, so it will be difficult for a text screen reader to identify what is the label of that thing. So it will be good to switch to second one. It is label for ID, like S, there is ID S. So label for S will tell that this label is for this input with ID S. So it is a label called search. This is not visible to everyone, it's only visible in screen reader text will hide the thing, and screen readers will only read the text. So you can make it more easier by adding the label 2 there if it does not affect your design. So images, we use images in our website. It adds beauty to our website. So if we are using images for styling, then we should use CSS rather than making some element and making it background. So we should use CSS for it. And if we are using image tag, then it should have a alt tag, and better if you could add a description tag too. So if you are embedding any media like videos and all, it should not start with opening your site, because it annoys some people. So it is not good for your website to make it accessible. So you can, in upper one there is an autoplay tag which is not good for your video. So you remove that tag and it's accessibility friendly. So if you are not a developer and didn't get what I said previously, there are tools that will help to fix these things. Like there is a plugin called WP Accessibility by Joe Wilson, who is the greatest contributor of the WordPress accessibility community. So this plugin will help to fix you major issues in your themes, and if it is compatible, so it will fix everything I talked before. There is another plugin by Joe Wilson called Access Monitor, which will help to check that if your WordPress site is accessibility friendly or not. And if you don't do CSS, there is a plugin for generating a CSS for screen reader text that will help to generate CSS for screen reader text, which are normally embedded in new themes, because underscore S starter theme has this CSS embedded in it from the first. So major themes have it, but if you don't have it and you don't know how to code, you can use this plugin. So other tools rather than the WordPress tools are Color Contrast Analyzer that I used before. It is available for Windows and Mac, and Quick Check, which will help to find how your site is seen by person with color blindness. Color Palette Accessibility Evaluator also does the same thing, evaluating the colors. And Firefox Accessibility Extension and Web Extension for Firefox will help to analyze accessibility through the Firefox web browser. A total validator will validate your HTML contents, and it will have to validate many things except accessibility too. So you can check it too. Screen readers. There are some screen reader simulators. I have given the link in the references. So you can check those screen reader simulators that helps to emulate screen readers on your web browser, so that you can see how your content is visible in the screen readers. So basically, with these tools, we can check how our site runs or our site is accessibility friendly or not. And at last, I want to conclude with that. Hope everyone understands about accessibility, and the bloggers, theme developers, and plugin developers around here will keep in mind that there is something called accessibility, and the theme that are in WordPress are to be made accessibility ready, and to get the accessibility ready tag if it is possible. Thank you. These are the sites that I have gone through and doing research, and thank you. Thank you.
I'm just curious about accessibility and restrictive law. Can you please tell me something about accessibility? That's accessibility law. What does that mean?
Accessibility law means if you see the government policies and the government websites, some governments make that their government websites or the corporate websites, there is a law for government websites and corporate websites to be accessibility friendly, because they provide essential information to the citizens. So to remain adjusted to law, because this is a global market, WordPress is a global market. There are theme developers who are working on various things that goes to the international market and used by government sites. If they are used by government site, then it should be adjusted to the law of the government of the country. So many governments implement the law that their government sites should be accessibility friendly to provide the information that is needed to flow to the citizens, every citizen of the country.